Every day you walk among men and women no smarter than you, no stronger than you, no more deserving than you. And yet, they command the room. They are given the respect. They take the opportunities. They rise while you remain unseen, waiting, hoping. Why? Not because they are better, because they act as if they are. They walk with the air of kings while you shuffle like a servant. They speak with voices that sound as though obedience is expected, while you second-guess every word. And here is the brutal truth. In the game of power, perception is reality. People don't follow the best. They follow the boldest. They don't kneel before the most talented. They kneel before the most certain. Machiavelli would whisper this to you. Do not wait for the world to recognize your worth. Command it, declare it, project it. Act it as if you are the best, and soon the world will bend to that appearance. This is not arrogance, it is strategy. Confidence, whether real or performed, bends the wills of others. Master this truth, and you will never again walk as prey. You will walk as predator. That is why you must stay with me. Because what follows is not advice, it is transformation. By the end of this, you will not merely understand why confidence matters. You will wield it like a weapon. Look back at your life. How many times have you silenced yourself with thoughts like, I'm not ready yet, or what if they laugh? And in those moments, someone less talented, less intelligent, less prepared than you stepped forward, owned the stage, and walked away with what you wanted. Didn't it burn? Didn't it hollow you out to watch them claim the prize? Not because they were superior, but because they dared. The problem has never been ability. The problem has always been audacity. You keep waiting for proof before displaying confidence. But the world crowns the bold, not the hesitant. Machiavelli said it clearly. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Superiority is not something you wait to feel. It is something you decide to display. When you meet someone who walks with certainty, who looks you directly in the eye without flinching, who speaks with calm authority, don't you feel as though they know something you don't? That is the illusion of superiority, and it works every single time. Imagine if you lived like that. Imagine entering every room with the quiet conviction that you are the most important figure there. You don't announce it. You don't shout it. You simply carry yourself as if it were already fact. That one shift changes everything. People notice. People adapt. But most get this wrong. They think confidence means showing off, loudness, brashness. No. True Machiavellian confidence is colder than that. It is composed, untouchable, almost cruel in its calmness. You do not prove yourself because you have nothing to prove. You let others scramble to prove themselves to you. The mindset is simple. I am the standard. I am the measure. Others must rise to me, not the other way around. And when you hold this posture, fear disappears. You stop chasing approval. You stop begging for recognition. You move with a magnetic indifference that pulls others toward you without them even realizing why. Understand this. People do not respect the desperate. They respect the one who doesn't need to try. Desperation lowers your value. Calm superiority raises it. Project enough composure. And soon people crave your attention, your validation, your approval. They begin to chase you. That is why acting like the best is not arrogance. It is survival strategy. The human mind is wired to believe appearances. If you look untouchable, you become untouchable in their eyes. If you act above them, they place you above them. The line between appearance and reality is thinner than you imagine. Carry yourself as superior long enough, and you start to believe it yourself. Doubt withers. Hesitation dies. Your habits, your actions, your results begin to align with the image you project. And one day, the mask fuses with the skin. It is no longer an act. It is identity. This is the turning point. The day you decide to stop being small. Because smallness doesn't protect you. Smallness only ensures invisibility. You've tried humility. You've tried patience. You've tried being good enough. Where has it left you? Exactly where you are. Overlooked. The choice now is clear. Continue shrinking, or step forward and act like the best, even if you don't yet feel like it. Because the truth Machiavelli would remind you of is this: no one is going to hand you recognition. You must seize it, project it, demand it without ever asking. But once you decide to stop being small, another question arises. How do you make the world see you differently? How do you ensure people stop treating you as ordinary and instead treat you as the reference point they secretly measure themselves against? The answer is ruthless in its simplicity. You must become the standard. Everywhere people measure themselves, who speaks better, who looks more confident, who controls the room. Usually the standard they measure against is invisible. It is simply the one bold enough to claim the position. That can be you. Most make a fatal mistake here. They wait for approval. They crave validation. They want others to tell them they're ready, good enough, strong enough. But the very act of waiting kills them. The one who becomes the standard crowns himself. He waits for no one. So how do you crown yourself? First, define yourself before others can define you. If you don't, people will assign you a place, and it will always be smaller than you deserve. Decide now who you are, how you carry yourself, what you represent. Speak, walk, act from that decision. When you hold yourself as the reference point, others unconsciously fall in line. Second, set the benchmark in every room. You do not need to flaunt. You do not need to shout. You simply carry yourself in such a way that others compare themselves to you. Your calmness under pressure becomes the hidden test. Your composure becomes the yardstick. Without trying, you shift the atmosphere. You become the one against whom everyone else is measured. Third, watch the imitation begin. When you hold yourself as the standard, people cannot help but copy. They will adopt your words, your posture, your habits. Some will mock, some will admire, but all of them confess without words that you are the original. The imitator always reveals the presence of the one worth imitating. Fourth, guard the distance. If people get too close, they will see your flaws. And once they see your flaws, the spell weakens. To remain the standard, you must keep distance. Be visible, but not fully accessible. Be admired, but not fully known. Mystery is the shield that keeps you above them. Fifth, let them struggle to catch up. When you project superiority consistently, others feel the gap. Some will shrink, others will strain harder, but either way, the comparison always favors you, because you are the one they are chasing. Understand this. Superiority is not about being louder, richer, or more skilled. It is about claiming the position of the measure, then living in such a way that no one can ignore it. Once you hold this role, people adjust their behavior, their self-worth, even their ambitions based on how close they feel to you. They will whisper about you. They will tense when you walk in. They will measure victories by whether they surpass what you might have done. That is how you shift from invisible to inevitable. That is how you stop playing their game and make them play yours. But know this, appearing superior once is not enough. Anyone can fake confidence for a day. True power is forged in consistency. People respect appearances more than reality. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. They see what you project. They rarely care to look deeper, which means you don't need to be the best. You only need to appear as if you are. And once you appear untouchable, they believe it, and they treat you as such." Think about your own instincts. When you encounter someone who remains calm under fire, who doesn't over-explain, who looks composed even as the world shakes. Don't you assume they are stronger, smarter, more capable? That is the illusion at work. And illusions, when consistent, become more powerful than truth itself. But the illusion must not crack. If you project strength one moment and weakness the next, people sense the fracture, and once they glimpse it, you are ordinary again. So you must master control of your emotions. Panic, desperation, insecurity, these are poisons to authority. Even when you are burning inside, your exterior must remain unshaken. A calm face in chaos is worth more than 1,000 words. People follow composure, not panic. Silence, too, becomes your weapon. The loudest voice is rarely the strongest. It is the most insecure. True superiority draws attention by withholding, by choosing words with precision, by letting others fill the silence with their nervous chatter. In that silence, you rise higher. Frame control is another law. In every exchange, there is a frame. One leads, one follows. If you walk into a room adapting to others, you have already lost. But if you act as though others adapt to you, you seize the frame. It doesn't require arrogance, just subtle authority. The way you sit, the calmness in your tone, the decision to end a conversation on your terms. All of these send the message: I am in control here. And above all, indifference. Nothing declares superiority more than being unfazed. If they insult you and you react, you lower yourself. If they ignore you and you chase them, you reveal weakness. But if you remain indifferent, as if nothing touches you, you become untouchable. This is not performance. This is discipline. Day by day, interaction by interaction, you reinforce the aura until it fuses with who you are. The world does not care if you are truly the best. It only cares if you act like it. And once you hold yourself in that light, people will protect your legend for you. They will exaggerate your strength. They will tell stories of your composure. They will create the myth in your name. That is the Machiavellian secret. Appearances create belief, and belief creates reality. And once you carry yourself as the standard, once you project superiority without apology, you will no longer walk as prey. You will walk as predator. You felt the power of illusion, the weight of perception. But let's cut deeper. Superiority is not only how you appear, it is how you anchor yourself in the minds of others. The world is a theater, and most of its actors stumble onto the stage without script or costume. They improvise their lives, hoping someone will notice. But power is never improvised. Power is scripted, rehearsed, sharpened. The man who acts superior writes his own role, and by playing it with conviction, forces everyone else into supporting characters. Think of history. The conquerors who seemed larger than life were not always the strongest. Alexander, Caesar, Napoleon. They all built myths around themselves. Stories, symbols, gestures. Caesar refused the crown 3 times in public, knowing the denial would make him look even more kingly. Napoleon wore a simple gray coat, stepping into battle looking ordinary, but his men swore he looked like destiny itself. This is the principle. Superiority is staged. Appearances are not accidents. They are weapons forged deliberately. You must do the same. Decide what impression you want to leave in every mind you encounter, then craft it. The weak drift into impressions unconsciously, stained by others' judgments. The strong impose their own narrative. You want them to think, he is calm when others panic. Then act with ice in your veins. You want them to whisper, she does not chase, she is chased. Then cultivate indifference as your shield. This is how myths are born, not from reality, but from the disciplined performance of reality. And here is where most fail. They lack the endurance to maintain the mask. They are confident for a moment, then crack under scrutiny. They project superiority, then scramble to prove themselves when challenged. The moment you justify yourself, you lose. The superior never explains. He declares, then moves on. Explanation is weakness. Confidence is silent. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Machiavelli warned, few experience what you really are. Use this to your advantage. Let them see strength. Let them never taste doubt. But what about when you do falter? When failure exposes you? This is inevitable. No one wins every battle. No one escapes every mistake. Here is where most men collapse, begging forgiveness, explaining themselves, shrinking back to the herd. You will not. You will carry failure with composure, as if it were nothing. Shrug it off. Smile at it. Let the world wonder how you remain so unmoved. Do this consistently, and even your defeats will look like deliberate strategy. They will say, perhaps he allowed it. Perhaps she planned it. Indifference in defeat is the highest form of superiority. Now we step into darker territory. To act superior is not only to elevate yourself, it is to diminish others. The throne looks higher when everyone else is bowing. People must feel smaller in your presence, not humiliated outright, but subtly. How? By the precision of your calmness. When they grow emotional, you remain still. When they boast, you smile faintly, as if hearing a child. When they demand validation, you withhold it, and their hunger betrays them. You will notice they bend themselves into shapes just to earn a drop of approval, and you, by simply refusing to give it, tower above them. This is where indifference turns cruel, because indifference is not neutral. It is active dominance. To be unmoved when others seek your reaction is to declare, "You do not touch me." That is power. They will interpret your calmness as wisdom, your silence as depth, your distance as strength. But underneath, it is simple control. You refuse to let their hands reach your strings. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Apply this not just to promises, but to emotions. You owe them nothing, not an explanation, not approval, not reaction. That refusal crowns you. But what about relationships? What about love, friendship, family? Won't indifference kill them? Yes, and that is the point. Relationships built on equality are fragile. To remain superior, you must ensure even in intimacy, the balance is tilted. Give affection, but never fully. Give attention, but sparingly. Reward them, but unpredictably. Keep them chasing. The moment you give yourself entirely, you are no longer the standard. You are equal. And equality kills mystique. It breeds familiarity. Familiarity breeds contempt. Superiority dies the moment they feel they have you. So guard yourself. Keep distance, even in closeness. Let them taste you, but never consume you. Here is another brutal truth. Most people do not want freedom. They want direction. They crave someone to follow, someone to measure themselves against. When you act as the best, you become that figure. They will resent you, yes. They will envy you, yes. But secretly, they will also depend on you. They need your certainty, your calmness, your superiority, because it gives them structure. You become the fixed point in their chaos, and they hate you for it, even as they orbit you endlessly. This is why the superior never lowers himself to meet others where they are. If they cannot rise to you, let them sink. If they cannot handle your indifference, let them leave. If they cannot stand your calmness, let them crumble. Do not chase. Do not beg. Do not explain. Because the moment you do, you tell them they were worth more than your standard. And once you declare someone above you, even once, they never forget it. Better to let them curse your name than to hand them your crown. Now let's return to illusion, because illusion is the soul of superiority. Illusions are built not just by words, but by consistency, symbolism, ritual. Think of a king's crown. Does the metal itself make him king? No, it is a symbol, a reminder, a piece of theater. You too must create symbols of your superiority, a way you dress, a manner of speaking, a ritual of silence, an expression of composure. These become your crown, your robe, your throne. People cling to symbols more than substance. They remember impressions more than truths. Do not underestimate the power of scarcity. To be too available, too common, is to kill your superiority. Even kings kept themselves hidden, appearing rarely, so that when they did appear, every eye locked onto them. Do the same. Withdraw strategically. Appear less. Speak less. Let absence sharpen desire. Let silence deepen weight. The less they see you, the more they imagine you. And what they imagine is always greater than what is real. Illusion thrives in distance. But superiority is not only external. It must root itself inside you, or the mask will eventually crack. You must cultivate the discipline to believe your own posture, to convince yourself as much as others. Each day, remind yourself, I am the standard. Each act of indifference strengthens that belief. Each moment of calmness reinforces it, and slowly, your nervous system adapts. You no longer act superior, you feel superior. The mask fuses with the man. At that stage, you no longer chase power. Power chases you. People defer without knowing why. Opportunities appear without you asking. Rooms quiet when you enter. This is not magic. This is the inevitable result of one who projects superiority long enough to become it. And when you reach this point, you must protect it. Because the higher you stand, the more they will conspire to pull you down. They will test you. They will provoke you. They will try to crack your mask. If you let it break even once, they will pounce like wolves. But if you hold the line, if you remain unshaken, they will whisper among themselves, he is untouchable. This is the final secret Machiavelli would leave you with. The world crowns those who dare to appear above it. Not the most virtuous, not the most skilled, the most audacious. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but a few have the gift of penetration. If you understand this, you understand everything. To appear as the best is to become the best in their eyes. To act as superior is to be treated as superior. So now the decision falls to you. Will you continue shrinking? Will you continue begging for scraps, waiting for recognition, hoping to be chosen? Or will you crown yourself? Will you decide, here and now, to act as the best, until the world has no choice but to believe it? This is not about arrogance. It is not about pretending. It is about survival. Because in this world, those who act superior are followed. Those who wait to be recognized are forgotten. Choose wisely, because from this moment on, every step you take either enforces your superiority or erases it. Every silence either deepens your aura or exposes your weakness. Every interaction either crowns you or chains you. The choice is brutal, but so is the truth. No one will hand you the throne. You must take it. Act superior. Become the standard. Walk as if the world already belongs to you, and soon enough, it will. And remember, this lesson is not the end. It is only the opening act. Stay, because the next truth will not just shape how others see you. It will shape how you see yourself. And once you master that, there will be no cage left strong enough to hold you.